All right, so let's look at genotype. So we got genotype and phenotype. The beginning of this word reminds me of the word gene. Genotype. You're saying the word gene when you say this word. So genotype. This is what the actual alleles are. Now remember, if we go Miss Frizzle on our DNA and we zoom in and get in there on the DNA, you're not going to see capital B's or lowercase b's or capital letters or lowercase letters. You're not going to see red hair, brown hair. You're going to see a bunch of atoms that are connected to each other. But the way that those atoms are connected to each other tell your body what to do. And so instead of actually explaining, well, this is made of phosphorus and calcium and all these different things, sugars and base, all these things, we just use letters to represent dominant and recessive. So genotype is what the genes actually are, and we show that with these letters. You've seen these letters over and over. This form, so 2 capital letters, capital and lowercase, lowercase and lowercase. That's how we show the genotype. The genotype is telling what those 2 alleles are. Remember, your mom gave you one, dad gave you one? Genotype is saying this is what the genes in your DNA actually say. Your screen should be tilted. Phenotype is showing is talking about the physical characteristic. What's an example of a phenotype? You say.
No.
What's the example? Somebody talk to me.
Red hair.
Red hair. Whether your ear is connected at the bottom, earlobe. Those are phenotypes. They are physical appearances, and it can even get to the point where you have a higher risk of cancer, or you have a high risk of some autoimmune disease, something like that. That can be a genotype as well. I'm sorry, a phenotype as well. So it's obvious things that we can see on you, like the color of your hair, the shape of your fingernails and stuff like that. That can be a genotype. But a phenotype, a physical characteristic. But so can things on the inside that we can't easily see, but it is still a physical appearance. It's something that's on you physically. So genotype and phenotype, you should be able to tell the difference between those two. Go and take notes on those. So again, the genotype is going to be, we normally show genotype with big B and a little b, or little b. What the genotype actually causes is the phenotype. So the genotype is what your genes are. The phenotype is the physical appearance that the genes make happen. All right, so example, what is this B? This B, what is this, dominant or recessive? The Y, R, Q, J, S. Well, you can't tell them yes. Remember, what do we say about S's and O's and X's? What should you not do? You don't use those because they're difficult to tell. Now, you may think, what if this may have been somebody that wrote the S really big, but it's supposed to be a lowercase. So unless there's a drastic difference between a capital and a lowercase, let's just don't use that letter. All right, here we go. Below are the blanks of an organism. So answer. So is this a genotype or are these phenotypes? What are these?
Genotypes.
Okay, what would be an example of a phenotype?
Hair. Height.
Not just hair, but yeah, color of the hair, how high, yeah. All right, so what is this? The answers that I'm looking for are either going to be shows dominant or shows recessive. What would the phenotype of this organism have? Shows dominant. What would this? Again, you can't really tell, but if these are both lowercase, that would be what? Recessive. Again, don't use ones like that. What is this one?
Dominant and recessive.
Nope. It can't show dominant and recessive. Which one is it going to show? It's going to show the dominant trait. It's as if the little one is not there. All right, this one, recessive, I is recessive. W is going to show the dominant trait. Good. So these are genotypes. All right, let's look at this one. Heterozygous. Now listen to me. Listen to me. Hetero. Hetero, we've seen this word before in a prefix. Heterotroph. What is a heterotroph? It's an organism that does what? You say it. It gets this energy from others. What is an autotroph? It gets its energy from itself. Yes, essentially the sun, but yes, it makes its own energy or converts its own energy versus that. So hetero means other. You guys, stop typing. Your screen should be tilted. Hetero means other. Homo means same. Hetero is other or opposite. Homo means the same. So let's look at this. If it is heterozygous, zygous is actually, you don't have to know about this, but zygous is kind of referring to each of these letters. It's referring to the zygote. Heterozygous, what are the letters going to be? Are they going to be the same or are they going to be different? They're going to be different. What about homo? Okay, they're going to be the same. So hetero and homo. We're going to add two more to it because here, listen, these next two have the exact same definitions. They're synonyms, perfect synonyms. So hetero, look at, it says when alleles are different. And I gave you examples. When alleles are different. This word hybrid, what's the definition say? When alleles are different. It's the same as heterozygous, hybrid. Now, if you think about a hybrid, y'all can think of a hybrid car. What is a hybrid car? What does it do? How does it get its energy? What is it? Just tell me. Gas and electricity. So a hybrid is gas and it's electricity. So a hybrid is gas or electricity. That is a hybrid. If an animal is a hybrid, think about like mythological creatures. It's like a lion's head and a goat's body, or a zebra's legs and raccoon's body, or whatever. Like that is a hybrid. Or a lion and a tiger, a liger. That is a hybrid. Lion and a tiger. What is the opposite of a hybrid? What is an animal that is all one thing? Just tell me. Purebred. What do you think of? I think of horses and dogs when I think of purebred. Like, y'all know that horses sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're good racehorses, and because they're purebred. They, Seabiscuit is their grandfather, or Secretariat is its great grandfather, whatever. So purebred. Purebred is when the alleles are the same. What's another word that means purebred that we just learned? All the alleles are the same. What was that word? Homozygous. So go ahead and write down that purebred and homozygous, they're the same, what they mean, and heterozygous and hybrid, what those words mean. All right, so this is on your slide. This is your notebook slideshow. Heterozygous and hybrid, they're the same thing. Heterozygous and hybrid are the same thing. Homozygous and purebred are the same thing. The right side is an opposite to the left. The left side is opposite to the right. So heterozygous means what? Hetero means, oh yes, other or different. What does homozygous mean? The same. So what is an example of these three right here? Which one of these would be, what is this? How would you describe this? Use these H words. Use the H words. This is homozygous. It would be called homozygous dominant. Why? Why do I need to specify dominant? Yeah, because it could be, this is also homozygous. So the little a's are homozygous and the big A's are homozygous. So if it's big A, I need to say homozygous dominant. And if it's little a's, what do I say? Homozygous recessive. I didn't write that out, sorry. All right, let's go back to the notes. All right, here's a video. Something Poppenroth. I can't remember her name. She has a funny name. She's going to explain Punnett Squares. We'll watch that in just a second. But we're going to keep on going through. This is how to do a Punnett Square. So we'll go ahead and watch it now. All right, so here again, just to review, big E is homozygous dominant. Little e is homozygous recessive. And if it's one of each, it's just heterozygous. You don't say heterozygous dominant or heterozygous recessive because it's both. That's what heterozygous means. All right, probability. What? We're doing math and science? Yes. Probability is the likelihood of something to happen. So is it possible that I could walk outside and a meteor hit me? Yes, it is possible. Is it possible? Yes. So the likelihood of that happening, there's going to be a chance, but is it very likely? No. And so I'm sure there's somebody that can figure out the probability of that happening. The same thing with winning the lottery, or the same thing with all those things. There are chances of that happening. Just because there is a chance does not mean it is very likely to happen. And this probability is normally expressed in a fraction. So like 1 out of 4 would be 1/4, or a percentage, and you know how that one is. A decimal with a decimal point. Y'all know that one. And as a ratio, I believe you guys have talked about it in math already. I want you to listen to. So probability doesn't tell what will happen. It explains the chances of something happening. So is it possible? Let's say that there's a 5% chance of something happening. Oh, let's say flipping a quarter. Can I flip a quarter and get heads? What's the chances? 50%. Okay. What if I flipped a quarter 30 times? Heads? what about that 31st time? What are the chances of me getting